Welcome to this session on qualitative research, where we'll explore its key designs, methods, sampling techniques, how data is generated, and ultimately analyzed. I'm Dr. Oluwatoyin Aodil Ajoni from the School of Education at UKZN. Throughout this presentation, I aim to guide you through the essential aspects of qualitative research, ensuring you gain a clear understanding of how to apply these concepts effectively in your studies or professional work. Let's dive in and discover how qualitative research can inspire greatness in our educational practices. Welcome to our introduction to qualitative research. This approach is all about understanding the why and how behind a subject, rather than just measuring how many or how much. It relies on non-numerical data, such as transcripts of conversations, audio recordings, and video footage. At its core, qualitative research recognizes that there isn't just one absolute truth. Instead, it embraces multiple perspectives shaped by the unique experiences and backgrounds of the participants involved. This makes it a powerful method for gaining deep insights into complex social phenomena. On this slide, we're focusing on the core of our study, the research problem and the key questions guiding our work. The problem refers to the specific real-world issue that our research aims to address. It's important to clearly define this because it shapes the entire scope of the study and ensures our efforts are relevant and impactful. The central research question is designed to be open-ended. Typically, it begins with words like what, how, or why, which encourages a deeper exploration rather than simple yes or no answers. This kind of question helps uncover detailed insights and allows the research to address the problem comprehensively. By clearly articulating both the problem and the central research question, we set a strong foundation that directs the course of our investigation and keeps our focus on generating meaningful outcomes. Qualitative research is fundamentally about understanding how people make sense of their social worlds, right within their natural settings. It's not about numbers or measuring things, but about capturing the richness and complexity of human experience. Researchers immerse themselves in the context, recognizing that reality is not fixed but socially constructed, shaped by culture, history, and interaction. This means that multiple realities can exist side by side. A key aspect here is the role of the researcher. We're not just observers, we become the primary instruments of the study. Our perspectives, reflections, and transparency in how we collect and interpret data are crucial. This reflexivity helps ensure the research remains authentic and credible. Qualitative research tends to be inductive and flexible. Instead of starting with a rigid hypothesis, theories and insights emerge naturally from the data as it's gathered. This allows researchers to adapt their approach as new patterns arise, making the process dynamic. Finally, qualitative methods excel at exploring complex and sensitive issues, things like identity, power dynamics, and lived experiences that are often overlooked. This makes it an invaluable approach for uncovering deep, contextually grounded understandings that can influence both policy and practice. Qualitative research includes several well-established designs or traditions, each with its own philosophical background and specific methods. First, we have case study research. This approach involves a deep dive into a bounded system, like a particular institution or group, using multiple sources of data to create a comprehensive understanding. Next is phenomenology, which focuses on uncovering the core of lived experiences by examining how individuals perceive and interpret certain phenomena. This could be anything from leadership experiences to illness. Grounded theory is another important design. It's all about generating new theories directly from systematically gathered data, especially when existing theories don't quite explain what's happening. Then we have ethnography and narrative inquiry. Ethnography involves spending extended time with a cultural or social group to understand their shared beliefs and practices, often through participant observation. Narrative inquiry, on the other hand, looks at personal stories to explore how people construct meaning throughout their lives. Choosing the right qualitative design is crucial. It needs to align with your research question and philosophical approach. For instance, if you're examining teachers' experiences with curriculum changes, phenomenology might be the best fit. But if you're analyzing how a new policy is rolled out across various schools, a case study approach would be more suitable. Understanding these designs helps you make solid methodological choices and explains your approach clearly in your research work. In qualitative research, sampling is quite distinct from the statistical sampling we see in quantitative studies. Here, the focus is on gathering rich, detailed information rather than aiming for broad representativeness. One key approach is purposive sampling, where participants are intentionally selected because they have specific knowledge or experience relevant to the research topic. This often involves criterion sampling, selecting individuals who meet certain predefined criteria, or maximum variation sampling, which seeks out a wide range of perspectives to uncover common themes despite differences. Another important technique is snowball sampling, especially useful for reaching hidden or hard-to-access populations. In this method, current participants help identify others within their network, making it easier to connect with those who might be otherwise difficult to find. Meanwhile, theoretical sampling, commonly used in grounded theory, is more dynamic and guided by emerging insights. Researchers decide who to sample next based on the developing analysis, which helps deepen and refine the theory. As for sample size, it's not fixed upfront but determined by the point of data saturation. This is when gathering more data stops revealing new themes or insights, signaling that enough information has been collected to fully explore the research questions. Studies show saturation can often be reached with relatively small samples, depending on how similar or diverse the participants are and the study's scope. For postgraduate students especially, it's vital to clearly explain why certain sampling choices were made and demonstrate that saturation has been achieved. Doing so strengthens the research's methodological rigor, ensuring transparency, credibility, and trustworthiness throughout the study. Here, we're focusing on the concept of sampling in research. At UKZN, we aim for inspiring greatness by selecting participants who can provide the richest insights. Rather than choosing participants at random, we often use purposeful or snowball sampling. This means we deliberately select individuals who are likely to have the most valuable information related to our study. Because we're concentrating on depth and quality of data, our sample sizes are typically smaller, usually around 10 to 20 participants. This approach allows us to gain a deeper understanding by engaging closely with a select group, rather than diluting the data with a larger, less focused sample. Qualitative data generation tools are essential for capturing participants' views in their own words and within their natural environments. One key tool is the semi-structured interview, which offers a balance between consistency and flexibility. This allows us to ask set questions but also to explore unexpected topics that emerge during conversations. For example, when interviewing teachers about how they integrate technology, we can uncover both practices and challenges they face, as well as the support systems in place. Focus group discussions are another valuable method. They generate data through group interaction, revealing shared experiences and collective understandings that might not come out in one-on-one interviews. Observations provide direct insight into behaviors and contexts, allowing us to see what happens naturally, rather than relying on what participants say. Likewise, documentary analysis looks at texts like policy documents or reflective journals, offering historical and contextual background that enriches our findings. In today's research landscape, digital and audiovisual materials are increasingly important. Online platforms, digital artifacts, and multimedia content expand the range of qualitative data, making research more relevant and comprehensive. The choice of these tools should always align with the research questions and ethical considerations. Combining multiple methods through triangulation enhances the credibility and richness of the data. For postgraduate researchers, it's crucial to plan carefully, pilot instruments thoroughly, and remain reflexive throughout the data collection process to ensure the highest quality results. Qualitative data analysis is an iterative and interpretive process, where we make sense of large amounts of textual, visual, or audio data. One of the most common approaches is thematic analysis, which involves several key steps. First, we familiarize ourselves with the data by transcribing interviews and systematically categorizing the information. Then, through coding, we identify repeated words, concepts, and patterns within the data. These codes are then grouped into broader themes that help answer the research question. The process continues with refining and naming these themes to ensure they accurately capture the essence of the data, and finally, producing a coherent analytic narrative that presents the findings clearly. Beyond thematic analysis, there are other methods like content analysis, which focuses on interpreting patterns in text, discourse analysis, which looks at how language shapes social realities and power dynamics, narrative analysis, which explores the meanings behind participant stories, and grounded theory, which uses systematic coding to build theory directly from the data. Throughout all these approaches, reflexivity is vital. Being transparent about the researcher's role and decisions, and documenting the analysis process clearly, adds credibility to the research. While qualitative software tools like NVivo or Atlas.t can support data management and coding, ultimately, interpreting the data remains the researcher's responsibility. For postgraduate researchers especially, it's important to establish a clear connection between the data, analysis, and findings to produce rigorous and scholarly qualitative research. When we talk about ensuring rigor in qualitative research, a key framework to consider is trustworthiness, as outlined by Lincoln and Guber. This framework includes four essential components: credibility, transferability, dependability, and confirmability. Credibility is about having confidence in the truth of our findings. We can achieve this through techniques like prolonged engagement with participants, member checking to validate data, and triangulation, which involves using multiple sources or methods to cross-verify information. Transferability is all about providing enough contextual detail so that others can determine whether the findings apply in different settings. Dependability focuses on the consistency and transparency of the research process, which we support by maintaining clear records like audit trails and thorough methodological documentation. Confirmability ensures that our findings are shaped by the participants' perspectives rather than our own researcher bias. This involves reflexivity, where we critically reflect on our influence, and grounding interpretations firmly in evidence. Ethical considerations run throughout every stage of qualitative research. These include securing informed consent, protecting confidentiality and anonymity, minimizing any potential harm, and obtaining ethical clearance from institutional review boards. For postgraduate students, adhering to these ethical principles and trustworthiness criteria isn't just ticking boxes, it's a scholarly responsibility. Upholding these standards strengthens the value of qualitative research, enhancing its contribution to knowledge, practice, and policy. When done with integrity and sensitivity, qualitative research offers profound insights into complex social issues and fosters deeply meaningful, contextually relevant scholarship. Here at UKZN, inspiring greatness means upholding the highest standards of quality and trustworthiness in our research. When it comes to qualitative research, we evaluate rigor through four essential pillars. First, credibility ensures that the results genuinely reflect the participants' views and experiences. Next, transferability assesses whether the findings can be applied or adapted to other settings beyond the original study. Dependability focuses on whether the research process itself is logical, consistent, and thoroughly documented. Finally, confirmability ensures that the findings are grounded in the data and not influenced by the researcher's personal bias. Together, these pillars form the foundation for producing trustworthy and impactful qualitative research. Now, when presenting your findings, it's important to start by clearly introducing your main theme. This sets the stage for everything that follows. Use exact quotes or evidence from your participants to bring your themes to life. Aim for at least 4 quotes per theme to give a robust and authentic perspective. Make sure to emphasize the context in which these perspectives were shared, highlighting the lived experiences of those you studied. This helps to deepen understanding and adds a valuable human dimension to your research. Then, link your findings back to the literature and theoretical framework you've discussed earlier, showing how your work fits within or challenges existing knowledge. Finally, wrap up by concluding with your own voice, offering your insights and reflections on the significance of your findings. This approach ensures your presentation is both grounded in evidence and thoughtfully analyzed. To conclude, this study has provided valuable insights into our subject matter, revealing important patterns and outcomes that can guide both theory and practice. The findings suggest several practical applications, such as improvements in policy or strategy that could enhance effectiveness in the field. Moreover, these results open up new avenues for further research, inviting exploration into related questions and the testing of additional variables. Moving forward, building on this foundation will help deepen our understanding and refine our approaches, ultimately inspiring greater success and impact.